Thank you. I'd like to say that I'm outraged at what I'm finding in the United States of America today. I came to this country under the impression that this was the greatest country in the world. And I came here as a legal immigrant. I jumped through all the hoops. Took a year for me to get here, and I came here and I continued my education here. And many years later, what do I find now? That I am back home in upstate New York, because we have the same situation in New York State across the country as the situation that I left in Jamaica, which is a huge divide between the haves and the have-nots, an increasing amount of people who are grabbing money left and right to the detriment of the working class and the middle class. I worked with the Democratic Party for many years, hoping, and finally I gave up and said, this makes no sense. This is why I'm running on the Green Party ticket and bringing all of my talents, yes, and my skills, yes, and my education in service for the Green Party, and also in service of working people and middle class people, because the Republicans and the Democrats are not interested in working class people and middle class people. This is what I have learned the hard way. Yes, I have been working on fighting hydro-fracking in the southern tier in New York State and also in Pennsylvania. We have made common cause with people at ground zero in northeast Pennsylvania who have their water polluted, their lives totally destroyed by the gas drilling corporations who have run havoc in northeast Pennsylvania. I'm looking at the Green Party for making a new change in the United States, a new change across the world, because this is an international party, so as to bring sanity and health back to the planet, sanity and health back to the United States, sanity and health back to New York State. I'm working with the anti-frackers because we are not just environmentalists. We are people who love life. And what gives me hope and keeps me going is not only working with the Green Party and the wonderful people that are in the Green Party, but also the many hundreds, the many thousands of people across New York State who are working towards putting either a moratorium, but preferably a ban, because the position of the Green Party and the position of Howie Hawkins for governor is a ban on hydro-fracking. There is absolutely no way, no how that this process can be done safely, and to say that you are for safe drilling is an oxymoron. Safe drilling using this method absolutely does not exist, and that is why I am running, and I hope that you will remember us in November, that this is the only party that is for change and the only party that makes sense. I was a volunteer with the Tago County Democratic Committee, and I was asked to run for office, and I turned it down because one needs money. This is one of the other things, many things that I like about the Green Party, that it does not accept any corporate donations, but we help each other out. As someone who has graduated from 3 of the university centers in the State University of New York system, I got my master's degrees here at SUNY Albany, my law degree at SUNY Buffalo, my PhD at SUNY Binghamton. When you talk about minimum GPA, that is one way of looking at things. It's not the only way. For example, at SUNY Buffalo Law School, it's a pass-fail system. Once we, the Green Party, get into office and make all these changes, the entire educational system will change. The way of thinking about education will change. And young people, the way they think about education will change. Oftentimes now I hear that high school is a horror. Last year of high school was a nightmare. That also will change, because our young people will be more motivated to learn for the joy of learning rather than looking at it as a chore. So we won't even need to talk about GPAs anymore, is how I envision it. Well, right now the EPA is in the process of, it's going to be having its last hearing, presumably in Binghamton, although that switch back and forth between Syracuse and Binghamton was quite interesting there for a while. But let's just assume it's going to be in Binghamton. The problem that we who have concerns about hydro-fracking is that the way this study is set up right now, the EPA study, is way too narrow. It's supposed to be focusing only on water. Water does not exist in a vacuum. Water is affected by air. Air is affected by water, and so on. So we're pushing the EPA to expand its study to look at beyond water more than just drinking water and more than just water. So we need to have a lot of discussion, sit down with the EPA and say maybe you need to go back to the drawing board, as well as talking to the DEC, the environmental conservation, that you also need to go back to the drawing board. But these are, from the perspective of the Green Party, these are temporary stopgap measures. What we need to be really focusing on and spending our energies on is pushing for a complete ban statewide and next nationwide on this form of gas drilling, this toxic, dangerous form of gas drilling called hydro-fracking. That's where we need to be focusing our energies.